mo kí gbogbo ọmọ kóòtù òjìrè jákèjádò àgbáláyé, mo kí gbogbo èèyàn ọmọ aládé pátápátá ní gbogbo ibi tẹ́ ẹ bá wà, a kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Ẹ rí i pé ẹ̀rín ni mo bá wọlé sórí ètò lónìí. Tẹ́yìn náà bá rí fídíò tí mo fẹ́ fún yín lónìí, mọ̀ pé ẹ̀yin náà tún máa rẹ́rìn bíi tèmi. Ẹ̀rín náà lẹ fi máa parí ẹ̀. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa, gẹ́gẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀ ṣe mọ̀ pé òní ni àyájọ́ ọjọ́ tí Nàìjíríà gba òmìnira, tí ara ò rókùn, tí ara ò rọdìyẹ, bọ́mọdé ṣe ń sọnù làgbà ń sọnù, lóbìnrin ń sọnù, bí wọ́n ṣe ń ké ní Kwara.
Gbogbo wa wọ́n ti pa gbogbo èèyàn tán lókè ọdẹ, gbogbo wa ti sí. Àti kúrò lókè ọdẹ wọ́n ti pa wá kan. Àwọn gọ́ọ̀mẹ̀ntì náà ń pa wá. Àwọn náà pa wá, wọ́n gbàgbọ́ lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọdẹ níjẹ̀rin. Wọ́n dẹ̀ kó fi pépà wọlé lánàá. Wọ́n gba ìbọn lọ́wọ́ àwọn ọdẹ tán láwọn kó wá. Wọ́n sì pa gbogbo èèyàn, wọ́n sì kó fi pépà wọlé. Ọkùnrin mẹ́ta wà nílé kan, wọ́n sì pa mẹ́tẹ̀ẹ̀ta. Wọ́n sì kú obìnrin. Wọ́n sì kú obìnrin nìkan. Wọ́n sì pa gbogbo àwọn ọmọ náà. Wọ́n sì fi ẹ̀mí gbogbo àwọn ọmọ náà.
Ẹ̀yin èèyàn wa, ọ̀rọ̀ báńdíìtì la ṣe ń kó tá àti ìkó tán. Ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ wa, ṣe mọ̀ pé òní ni Bọ́lá Tinubu bá everybody sọ̀rọ̀ fún ayẹyẹ àyájọ́ òmìnira wọn. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, mo fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ ká jọ lọ wo irọ́ bàǹtàbàǹtà eléyìí tí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó tún pa mọ́ ẹ̀yin tí ẹ̀ ń pera yín ní Nàìjíríà. Ṣe mọ̀ pé àwa ń ti wá ń sìn, àwa ti mọ̀ pé àwọn ń ṣe Nàìjíríà mọ́, Nàìjíríà kò ṣe ń fọ́ọ̀sì ara ẹ̀ lé wa lórí ni. Ṣùgbọ́n a dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé lágbára Elédùmarè láìpẹ́ láì jìnnà, àmọ́ Ọlọ́run máa gbàdúrà wa. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, màá fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ wo irọ́ bàǹtàbàǹtà eléyìí tí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu tó pa nínú ọ̀rọ̀ rẹ̀ tó sọ lónìí. Màá fẹ́ kẹ́ ẹ lọ wo, kẹ́ ẹ wá gbọ́ àwọn irọ́ tó pamọ́ àwọn tó wọ́n sì ń pera wọn ní Nàìjíríà. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, èmi mọ̀ pé tí ò bá jẹ́ wípé arákùnrin ó ti háì, ó ti mú nǹkan, mi rò pé irú irọ́ bí eléyìí gbọ́dọ̀ jábọ́ lẹ́nu àgbàlagbà. Ṣùgbọ́n mo rí i pé bàbá yìí ó háì ara ẹ̀ dáadáa, torí pé ó mọ̀ pé ọ̀rọ̀ tó fẹ́ sọ òun gbọ́dọ̀ kálá, òun gbọ́dọ̀ dájú láti sọ ni. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ wo bí Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu, kẹ́ ẹ wo àwọn irọ́ tó gbé sórí ayélujára, ó gbé sí gbogbo àgbáyé, tó irọ́ bàǹtàbàǹtà tó pamọ́ àwọn ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Ẹ̀yin èèyàn mi, ẹ farabalẹ̀ kẹ́ ẹ wo fídíò yìí o. Tẹ́ bá wò èrò ọkàn yín náà, ẹ bá mi fi sí abẹ́ comment section. Ẹ̀yin olólùfẹ́ mi, nígbà tó parí speech yẹn tán, tó sọ tán, àwọn brother wa ní Arise TV, àwọn náà sọ̀rọ̀.
All right, just before we take on our other stories this morning, Dr. Abati, Rufai, I see us all in green. It symbolizes one thing. It's Independence Day, 65th anniversary. The president's speech, as I'd mentioned earlier, and we will show excerpts of that speech in the course of this morning's show. But he talked about the labor of our heroes past, paying tribute to those who made independence possible for Nigeria. Beyond that, he also used the opportunity to highlight some of the key achievements of his administration since he was sworn into power in 2023. He was able to highlight, articulate in education. He talked about security efforts, whilst admitting some of the challenges that his administration has faced. He also talked about the economy and some of the gains that the hard-hitting reforms he's made have also have had an impact on Nigeria. But he did say something that the future is brighter now. We've come out of the labor pains. It's perhaps time to now begin to enjoy the dividends of democracy under the Renewed Hope agenda. Your take on this, or shall I start with you, Rufai, first of all, and then you can share with us your thoughts.
Okay, so you pretty much had like 3 or 4 sections in the speech. The first part was where he talked about our heroes past. Tried to create an historical antecedent of where we're coming from, our founding fathers. The fact that in the 60s we had little secondary schools, I think over 130 or thereabout, and now we have well over 20,000 secondary schools. But the question we should ask is, we have about 20,000 secondary schools. What's the state of those secondary schools? Is it those secondary schools that we have problems with policing effectively? Safe schools is a big ordeal. Secondary schools where Chibok girls were kidnapped. This administration, the APC, came in on the back of advocacy for Chibok girls. 91 Chibok girls are still missing 10 years after APC administration. They called Jonathan, all sorts of names for Chibok girls. But APC has been in power 10 years, 91. So when we talk about the fact that we've increased secondary schools, President Tinubu, please, can you bring Chibok girls back home? Because it's a big insecurity challenge. Then he went further to talk about some of the things the administration has achieved. Talked about the dreams of the founding fathers. No, we have not met the dreams of the founding fathers. In fact, if the founding fathers could wake up for their graves, they would cry for Nigeria at 65. We have not met any dream of the founding fathers. In fact, we have disappointed the founding fathers. The likes of Obafemi Awolowo that ramped up education in the south, in the southwest, through free education. We have disappointed them. Not just free education, quality education. He was spending 1/3 of his budget on education. We have disappointed the founding fathers. Talked about what is achieved. Yes, 4.2% growth. Let's not also forget that the economy was rebased, so the parameters definitely were different. Talked about the fact that we have a net surplus, over 7 trillion in net surplus in trade. Talked about the fact that we're taking more revenue now. 13% revenue to GDP ratio. Yes, but we're also borrowing heavily. 10 years ago, before APC came in, debt was over 10 billion US. Today we are 97 billion. The question is, a lot of people keep asking, what have we done with the money? A lot of corruption. The humanitarian ministry, we've not seen anything as regards it. The humanitarian ministry. You said, yes, we've caught corruption in subsidy. But this government also forgot that after announcing subsidy gone, we paid subsidy for the next 1 year. What is the integrity as regards the refineries? Over 3 billion spent. We can't see refineries working. And that's why sometimes I blame Pegasus. They are running after Dangote. How come they've not held NNPC accountable? Over $3 billion spent on the refinery. So we are talking about corruption. President Tinubu, yes, EFCC is going after those people. Until we recover the full 3 billion spent on those refineries that are not working today, then we'll know that you are fighting corruption. But if we have not done that, we can't move anywhere yet. You talked about the fact that, yes, the foreign ratings agency are already prisoners. Yes, they are prisoners, but already incurring more debts. We still have pending debt of about 4 trillion for the electricity company that they say will rise up to 5 trillion. They struggle to buy gas. But you told them that they should go to the debt management office. Debt management office is saying they can't even take up to that 4 trillion in debts. You talked about SNEL fund. Yes, student loan, a lot of students are collecting the loan. You talk about conditional cash transfer. With due respect, we would like to see the 8.1 million people that have benefited from the 330 billion conditional cash transfer. In fact, some people have subpoenaed through FOI that they should release those numbers. Because you see, we have a lot of announcements that do not meet reality. You talked about insecurity. Yes, there have been arrests of some leaders, bandit leaders. But we've also seen videos of bandit leaders. Villagers now saying, Kabo for bandit leaders when they come to talk about peace. Bandit leaders sit in communities and talk about peace with government officials. We cannot get rid of them. Bandit leaders now hold press conference where they brag that if the military kills them, they will retaliate. All right, we also go ahead. We talk about other things that happen. Look at Kwara yesterday. Okay, I'm doing Kwara. As at yesterday, I have not seen the president's officials give out a statement as regards what's happening. The people are saying that they don't have confidence in the military. Because the military that was supposed to fight the insecurity of bandits in Kwara, nothing is happening. In fact, a Yoruba group now has issued a statement, I think to United Nations, written a petition to one of these United Nations agencies, talking about genocide of Yoruba. Because of what is happening in Kwara. People are helpless. Yeah, so we talk about all of this prospect, but there's still a gaping hole. A sizable population in this country, close to over 30 or 40 million, still do open defecation. Rural electrification is still a problem. In 65 years, we've not been able to produce more than close to 10,000 megawatts. We've hovered around 4,000 to 6,000 megawatts. 40 years ago, we were producing about the same megawatts. Electricity came into this country. We started building power plants since 1926-27, when we built Ijora. Today, we can't do 10,000 megawatts. So how do we power an economy where we can't do increased megawatts? So for all of these things, yes, trade surplus, yeah, we have stronger reserves today for 2 billion in last year.
Bantabanta Tinubu pa. Oni won tule yo kokon yen o.
And that's why I say if the founders look back at us 65 years after, it's a tale of woes. Nigeria should be way ahead of this. Yes, they are doing infrastructure. But a lot of people are asking accountability questions about the infrastructure. The coastal road, we are taking out debts to do. They say Kano Maradi rail line will still be complete and all of that. Yes, but we're also asking accountability questions as regards this. Then in the end, they ended with hope and trying to encourage Nigerians, things will be better, it's going to be better. But Nigerians are hungry. The Punch did a report yesterday Do you know the median cost of rents now in Nigeria for 2-bedroom flat is 2.5 million? In the mainland, 2.5 million. In a country where you have minimum of 70,000, how will people be able to pay 2.5 million? Yes, we need to increase. They're going to increase the tax base, with the new tax law and all of that. Part of the tax law was saying that, people that earn about less than $1 million a year. But in a country where people pay 2.5 million for rent, it's even more than the poverty threshold.
All right.
In parts of the country. So when you look at that, there's a lot more that needs to be done. It's not just about talking about hope and everything. Yes, some things have been done, but we need a lot more for this country to be more conducive.
All right, we need a lot more. Dr. Abati, your take on the President's Independence
Okay,
Speech.
today is Independence Day. It's also the first day of the month. It's also the day that Arise News is moving to this brand new studio. So it's a day of celebration on 3 fronts. However, we will recall the subject of Independence Day, that on this exact day, 65 years ago, Nigeria became independent at the Tafawa Balewa Square, where the national flag of Nigeria, the green, white, green, was hoisted, and the Union Jack was brought down. Representing the Queen of England, the English monarch on that occasion, was Princess Alexandra of Kent. And you had, becoming the new leader of Nigeria, Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa. The Governor General on that occasion was Nnamdi Azikiwe, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. And Nigerians, lined up and they celebrated all day, all night. And there was hope. The founding fathers, speaking through Tafawa Balewa, hoped that this would be a great nation, that this would be a nation that would be a model for the rest of Africa. Tafawa Balewa, known as the golden voice of Africa, made those statements about the vision of the leaders. But where are we today? The first way to measure how far we have traveled is to look at other countries that are celebrating their national day today. They include Germany. Germany at a different year, but October 1 is Independence Day. They include Palau. They include Guinea. They include China, which became independent in 1949. Now, if you look at the other countries, 21 of them, by the way, who share the same Independence Day with Nigeria, you can compare and contrast. Different times, different destinies. Now, to go very quickly to the statement by President Bola Tinubu this morning. He said that Nigeria has experienced the good and the bad, and that we have turned the corner. We have survived the worst. Now, not many Nigerians will agree with him. Not many Nigerians will agree with him in terms of Nigeria turning, the corner and triumphing over the worst. He was honest, however, to say that our history in 65 years has been one of the good and the bad. Some people will say, in fact, the ugly. They will add it to it. But he spent the bulk of the statement, after a paragraph devoted to the founding fathers of Nigeria, to talk about the achievements of his administration, specifically what he has done in the, I think this is his 4th or 3rd National Day address, 2023, 2024, now 2025. So it's the 3rd one. So the bulk of the statement is concentrated on what his administration has done. Removal of fuel subsidy, which he says now puts more money in the pockets of the states and the local councils. Now, the money in the pockets of the local councils and the state governments. How about accountability? How about transparency? Do we have more qualitative governance system at those other levels of government? He talked about the foreign exchange regime, how this has also been addressed. Now, to what effect? You will ask that question. He says oil production has increased 2 million barrels per day, he claims, because there's now greater security in that area. He talked about what his administration is doing for the youth of Nigeria, quoting in this regard the NEL Fund and, what has been done in that regard. He says his administration is committed to ensuring security, the well-being of the average Nigerian under Section 14 of the Constitution, which is the primary responsibility of government. Now, he talked about fiscal health. He says Nigeria is in a better place in terms of fiscal health under his watch. After all, foreign reserve is said to be over $42 billion. After all, In the Q2, GDP growth is put at 42.3%, far above the IMF projection of 34.3%. He also argued, or he told Nigerians more or less, that look, under his watch, this economy is doing much better, and that Nigerians are far more prosperous than they have ever been. Now, many Nigerians will not agree with that. Many Nigerians will say, well, when Olugbon reigned, we knew what happened. When Aresa reigned, we knew what happened. Now that Tinubu, the Emilokan apostle, is in the saddle, Nigerians are the ones who are in the best position to talk about what they are experiencing. However, President Bola Tinubu made the most important part of his broadcast, which is saying he was delivering this morning a message of hope. Now, preaching hope is a Christian eschatological, viewpoint. Leaders, politicians, like priests, always preach hope, optimism. They will always tell you that things will be better. And I think that in that regard, President Bola Tinubu struck the right note when he says, well, we have done a lot in terms of energy, we have done a lot in terms of road construction, providing infrastructure generally, but that we will do more with security, with infrastructure. And I think that that's the strongest part of his speech. He paid tribute to the founding fathers of this country. The hopes that I said were expressed by Prime Minister Tafawa Balewa on October 1, 1960. But those dreams, those visions of the founding fathers, have we achieved them? This country has gone through civil war, 1967 to 70. This country has suffered the subjugation, the humiliation, the trauma of military rule. Even if some people say, well, we should not bash the military, because the military, even in retrospect, with the benefit of hindsight, made as much contribution to the growth of this country, even much better than the civilians, who do not seem to know what they are doing over the years. Now, he talked also about the talent of Nigerians, and we can agree in that regard. This is a country of talented people, and this is what we should celebrate. Whether we're talking about Akinwumi Additional, or we're talking about Wole Soyinka, or we're talking about Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, or we're talking about Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, or we're talking about Anthony Madu, that's his name, or all the Nigerians who are excelling in various aspects of life. So it seems to me that what we should celebrate 65 years after is the resilience of the average Nigerian, the ingenuity of the average Nigerian, the patience and commitment and endurance of the average Nigerian, which I think President Tinubu himself referred to in one phrase. We, the people of Nigeria, we are the ones who have sustained this country by refusing to submit to despair, by refusing to become despondent, by continuing to strive and showing the community of nations that whatever may have been the problem with leadership in this country, appropriately identified by Professor Chinua Achebe and others, the people are resilient. And the people say, whether it's 65th birthday of our becoming independent or 70th birthday, the people of Nigeria will continue to assert themselves and excel. And I think today, it is not government that we should celebrate. It is the people of Nigeria, their commitment to the optimism that President Bola Tinubu and others, and the priest, Bishop Kuka and all the priests, they talk about optimism. They give us hope. That hope continues to survive because we, the people, believe in this country. It is now the responsibility of government, going forward, as President Tinubu has promised, to ensure that the people are not disappointed and government continues to be the government of the people, for the people, and by the people, and not a government of a minority that is committed to conspicuous consumption.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Bati. We have the excerpt of the president's speech, but before we go to that, I believe I'll just make a quick comment on the president's Independence Day speech. Of course, a number of people would have woken up this morning at 7 a.m. to listen to the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria give his speech on this occasion of the 65th anniversary of Nigeria's independence. And a number of things have already been spoken about what he said, and we will have the opportunity to listen in a very few, in a few moments. But before then, I think I'll I'd like to concentrate on the part of hope that he spoke about towards the end of his speech, because whilst he looked back, and it's important for us to go forward, we must look back. We must remember those who paid the ultimate price and also ensure that we do not disappoint the labors of our heroes past in their efforts. So the president said, let us be a nation of producers, not just consumers. And this was his parting shot to Nigerians as to how Nigerians can play their own part in ensuring that we build the country of our dreams. But in saying that, I also must mention that Nigerians, the Nigerian people, the average Nigerian is resilient, is hardworking, is diligent, has survived against all odds. The average Nigerian, and that's why till today, despite prevailing economic circumstances, on a day like this, on the 1st of October, we're in green, we're waving our flag, we're excited to be Nigerian. That is why on a day like this, or we want to be excited to be Nigerians for a number of people, on a day like this, when we mention or we recite the Nigerian anthem, there's still a sense of pride, because a large number of Nigerians believe in the country and want to thrive. Because no matter what, wherever you go to, you're still, first of all, Nigerian. So when he talks about being a nation of producers and not just consumers, the president, during his campaign, pre-2023, had assured Nigerians and made promises as to how he was going to ensure that we become more producers rather than consumers. He talked about being the next Taiwan on the African continent, and I just wanted to use this opportunity to remind the president of his campaign promises so that Nigerians who want to be producers, not just consumers, can have an enabling environment to actually thrive. We've often talked about the harsh business environment for a number of small businesses, micro, medium-scale businesses who want to thrive. He also talked about, let us farm our land and build factories to process our produce. Absolutely. Nigerians want to go to the farm, but can you ensure that the farms are secure enough for the farmers to return to their farms and not have to be killed because they want to go about their daily livelihood? So when we are asking Nigerians to play their role in building the nation, Nigerians only want an enabling environment for them to shine as the stars that the president often talks about, especially with the young people, the youth of Nigeria. Can we not kill our young people and ensure that the streets are safe for Nigerians? Can we ensure that we provide security for lives and property in Nigeria? These are the asks. This is what we are asking for. We can build a great nation, but the government must do its part. And so whilst he gives his parting shot as to patronizing made in Nigerian goods, we've often talked about that it would be great optics if the government itself took the initiative or led the way by actually using made in Nigerian goods, from cars to office stationery. There are things, to even outfits that they wear, that the Nigerian politician or the president and governors can position by, actually we have innocent cars. Why are we still patronizing other brands and not including our proudly made in Nigerian brands? We have Nord cars. So if we talk about this thing, it's important to ensure that the government helps us to be fully Nigerian, helps the Nigerian people to be fully Nigerian. A number of things to talk about this morning, but I really would like to just again say, let's be hopeful. At the end of the day, this is Nigeria, we are Nigeria, and we must all work hard together, hand in hand, to ensure that we build the Nigeria of our dreams. Well, we have that excerpt I talked about earlier on. Let's see a few, or hear, listen and watch a few things that the president had to say for his Independence Speech 2025.
It is much easier for those whose vocation is to focus solely on what ought to be. We must recognize and celebrate our significant progress. Nigerians today have access to better education and health care than in 1960. At independence, Nigeria had 120 secondary schools with a student population of about 130,000. Available data indicate that as of year 2024, there were more than 23,000 secondary schools in our country. At independence, we had only the University of Ibadan and Yaba College of Technology as the two tertiary institutions in Nigeria. By the end of last year, there were 274 universities, 183 polytechnics, and 236 colleges of education in Nigeria, comprising federal, state, and private institutions. We have experienced a significant surge in growth across every sector of our national life since independence. In healthcare, infrastructure, financial services, manufacturing, telecommunications, information, technology, aviation and defense, among others. Our country has experienced both the good and the bad times in its 65 years of nationhood. As it's normal for every nation and it is people. We fought a bitter and unavoidable civil war, experienced military dictatorships, and lived through major political crises. In all this, we weathered every storm and overcame every challenge with courage, grit, and uncommon determination. While our system and ties that bind us are sometimes stretched by insidious forces opposed to our values and ways of life, we continue to strive to build a more perfect union where every Nigerian can find better accommodation and find purpose and fulfillment. Fellow compatriots, this is the third time I will address you on our independence anniversary since I assumed office as your president on May 29, 2023. In the last 28 months of my administration, like our founding fathers and leaders who came before me, I have committed myself irrevocably to the unfinished nation-building business. Upon assuming office, our administration inherited a near-collapse economy caused by decades of fiscal policy distortions and misalignment that had impaired real growth. As a new administration, we face a simple choice: continue business as usual and watch our nation drift, or embark on a courageous fundamental reform path. We chose the path of reform. We chose the path of tomorrow over the comfort of today. Less than 3 years later, the seeds of those difficult but necessary decisions are bearing fruits. In resetting our country for sustainable growth, we ended the corrupt fuel subsidy and multiple foreign exchange rates that created massive incentive for a rentier economy, benefiting only a tiny minority. At the same time, the masses received little or nothing from our commonwealth. Our administration has redirected the economy towards a more inclusive path, channeling money to fund education, healthcare, national security, agriculture, and political economic infrastructure, such as roads, power, broadband, and social investment programs. These initiatives will generally improve Nigerians' quality of life. As a result of the tough decisions we made, the federal and state government, including local government, now have more money to take care of the people at the lower level of the ladder to address our development challenges. Fellow Nigerians, we are racing against time. We must build the road we need, repair the ones that have become descriptive, and construct the schools our children will attend and the hospitals that will care for our people.
President Bola Tinubu's Independence Day speech. Moving on, the family of Arise News anchor Somto Chukwumaduagu say they are eagerly waiting on the Nigerian government to quickly unravel those behind the untimely death of their daughter at the Kantakwe area of Abuja in the early hours of Monday. Correspondent Andy Omano reports on the condolence visits by Arise News management to Somi's parents and family members in Port Harcourt, the Rivers State capital.
On behalf of the executive chairman and editor-in-chief of the Arise News Channel, Prince Uduka Obagbena, and the management and staff of Arise News. We have come to commiserate with you, to share your grief and your sorrow at this time, because, as it were, she's not just a member of your family, she was also a member of our own family, and we have become family.
At Arise News, we pride ourselves in creating a working environment for all our staff in such a way that we accept them as family members, not just as people who work for the company. And so it's based on that we didn't treat it as an official thing. As a family, we went straight to ensure that all the procedures, we wanted to know what happened from the house until they got to the morgue and all of that, and so on, the hospital and then morgue and all of that.
We were together on Saturday, we were together on Sunday night, we were together in the office. When she was going into the studio to anchor her program, I was actually the last person she saw outside before she walked into the studio. And we exchanged pleasantries. She did what she knows how to do best. But it's so unbelievable that we are discussing her in the past.
We thank you. We thank your chairman. We now will realize what really Arise is up to. It's not just you treat your workers as if you are a family. Let me put it that way. You are a family. You can see how small we are looking at Somi. Our daughter is small, but see the caliber of people now that came because of her to tell us sorry. We appreciate you so much, and we appreciate your chairman.
Our hearts and, we pray for continued comfort for the Maduagu family. Really, really tragic, very sad. Rufai, we spoke extensively about this yesterday, and I'm grateful for the attention that this has brought and the fact that a number of, key figures are talking about the fact that they will apprehend these armed robbers. Your take on this?
We need to ask a lot of questions. Till date, please, you can correct me if I'm wrong, have we seen any official statement by the police? So these are the problems we have in this country. And now at least we should have, even if it's a preliminary statement by the police, let's even know their read of what has happened. We thank all of those that have commiserated with us. President Tinubu sent his message yesterday, the First Lady, everybody, we thank you. But Somi's case is a reflection of what is happening to a lot of Nigerians out there. The only reason why this matter is getting agency because Somi is a media star. There are many other people that have no voice. Look at the people in Kwara. No voice, no help. So we want to be able to get a holistic view about this matter. Maybe when we talk to the police chief today, we'll get a holistic view about the matter. The FCT minister has also said they're going to ensure that there's strong investigation, which is good. We'll welcome that. We appreciate that. But we need to do things properly in this country so that what happened to Somi will never happen to any other person. Like Somi prayed, may Nigeria not happen to those that we love. But Nigeria keeps happening to all of us.
All right. Dr. Bati, if I come to you, we have a statement actually from the FCTA Police Command,
Okay,
FCT
good.
Police Command, and they commiserated with family of Arise News journalist, orders discreet investigation into her death. I'll just read very quickly. The Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, whom we'll be having in the course of today's show, Police Command CP Ajao S. Adewale, has extended his heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and colleagues of Miss Somtochukwu Crystal Maduagu, a news anchor, reporter, and producer with Arise News Channel, who tragically lost her life during an armed robbery incident at her residence in the Kantakwe area of Abuja in the early hours of Monday, September 29, 2025. So they described the incident as a cruel and senseless act. The Commissioner of Police assured that the command remains fully committed to ensuring that justice is served. They say they've ordered a discreet and comprehensive investigation into the circumstances surrounding the incident, and has asked the deployment of intelligence and operational assets to identify, track, and apprehend those responsible for the heinous crime.
Okay, before you read this out, I was going to refer to it to say that both the FCTA, Minister Nyesom Wike, speaking through his Vuvuzela, Larry Olayinka, and also the police command in FCTA had already issued statements commiserating with Arise News and saying categorically that they will make every effort to get to the root of this. However, the police need to be reminded that, look, we have many cases of unresolved murders, killings, assassinations in this country. Whether it's Funshaw Williams or it's, some other cases, Bola, Marshall Harry, and other cases. When the police promise that, we will get to the bottom of this, Nigerians should learn to take it with a pinch of salt, because we have a long list of unresolved murders and assassinations in this country, which is why it is curious that, initially everybody just jumped to the conclusion that this is a case of armed robbery. Now there's always the single story perspective, which is unintelligent and unproductive, and which may miss the point that we have always had in Nigeria. And we are saying that, look, the police, now that they say they will look into the matter, should not rule out any option. The investigation should be carried out. Too often, when something happens, they just jump to conclusion. They will tell you, one story that they have latched upon. That may not really be the story. And that's not how security agencies in other parts of the world behave. It is just as well that the management of Arise visited the family. I mean, that's what should be done in a civil manner. And I think also we should go beyond all of that to commend the various Nigerians who have commiserated with Arise News. Farmer Bago of Niger State sent a statement saying that this is a case of man's inhumanity to man. The same sentiment has been expressed by the governor of Anambra, Professor Soludo, the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, the governor of Akwa Ibom State, Dr. Umar Eno, the governor of Kaduna State, Uba Sani, and all other governors, and even ordinary citizens, saying that, look, this is not how a country should be run. However, President Bola Tinubu has issued a statement through Bayo Ononoga, saying that his government is committed to ensuring the security of every citizen. We need to see that. Because this killing of our colleague, Sume, happened about the same time that Pius Udoka, I think that's her name, Esquire,
Udoka,
yes, was abducted along with her sister. So you see that people are not safe in this environment. The major challenge that government faces and that the Office of the National Security Advisor should worry about is about how to make this environment safe for everybody. What complicates the matter further is that the victim in this regard is a journalist. In an environment where ordinary persons think that journalists do not have a right to say the truth, or even government officials think that journalists should be intimidated. And that, in my view, is a reason why, indeed, we should not just take the single story. There must be investigation, as all the parties involved have advised, and we must get to the root of this. Now, we said yesterday that Nigeria happened to Sume. That is the point. Nigeria happened to Sume, because I've seen some government agents, paid consultants and agents who cannot find something more serious to do with their time, saying that, Nigeria did not happen to her. No, Nigeria happened to her. It happened to Arise News. It happened to all of us. Because nobody should be kidnapped. Nobody should die.
All right, our condolences again to Somi's family. It was really, really sad to see. And perhaps it's important for us to see the faces of people who are impacted directly by these heinous crimes that happen, not just in the Federal Capital Territory, but across the country. I think a part of the FCT Commissioner's statement that I'd like to just touch on was where he said that Nigerians should immediately call on security officials in events like this. He said that residents should provide information, call on them, and give the response numbers. But many times Nigerians actually do this, and what they get in response is the fact that either the police does not have the equipment or the wherewithal to come to challenge these miscreants or these criminals. And so maybe the FCT Commissioner of Police, as well as other commissioners of police and the IGP, should look into this matter. Why do we have emergency numbers which are not effective when they are used by citizens of the country? And so that's why I keep saying that when we ask Nigerians to work hand in hand hand with security operatives or any other agent of government. Let us make it possible for them to actually work with them. As we've maintained on this table, the best way we can honor the legacy of Sumto Chukwumadragu is to ensure that the killers are apprehended and that no other Nigerian, young or old, will face this kind of tragedy.
Mo jẹ́ ẹ̀jẹ́ fún orílẹ̀-èdè mi ilẹ̀ Odùduwà tó ń ṣàn fún wàrà àti fún oyin, ilẹ̀ tó kún fún àwọn akọni ọgbọ́n ètò àti òye. Mo ṣe ìlérí gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ ológo ilẹ̀ adúláwọ̀, ìtànṣán oòrùn láti la ayé já nílẹ̀ Áfíríkà, láti gbé ilẹ̀ Odùduwà lárugẹ. Mo fọwọ́ sọ̀yà pé n kò ní dalẹ̀ tàbí ṣọ̀tẹ̀ sí ìṣọ̀kan àti ìtẹ̀síwájú orílẹ̀-èdè mi ilẹ̀ Odùduwà. Èmi yóò fi gbogbo ipá, ọkàn, iṣẹ́, ọgbọ́n àti ìṣe mi sin orílẹ̀-èdè mi ní òtítọ́ àti lódodo títí ọjọ́ ayé mi. Gbogbo ìyànjú àwọn akọni tó ti lọ kò ní já sófo láti ọwọ́ mi títí dé ìrandíran tí ń bọ̀ lẹ́yìn. Mo ṣe ìlérí pé ẹ̀sìn tàbí ìṣèlú kò ní yà wá nílẹ̀ Odùduwà. Tó bá wáyé bẹ́ẹ̀, mo lè lo ọkàn ẹ̀jẹ̀ tó kù sára mi láti fi ṣègbè àti jàjàgbara fún orílẹ̀-èdè mi. Ilẹ̀ Odùduwà, èdè kan, àṣà kan àti ìṣe kan ló so wá pọ̀ láéláé lágbára Elédùà.
You dey find real Yoruba gist, culture, truth and vibes. Na here e dey. Arole Baba Media, no dollar. Subscribe sharp sharp.